The current CEO of FTX, John Ray, and ousted CEO Sam Bankman-Fried are expected to testify in front of the House tomorrow. Joining us is Jay Clayton, former SEC chairman and a CNBC contributor. He's also non-executive chair of Apollo and an American Express board member. You saw Andrew's interview of Bankman-Fried and he gave other interviews. Is this going to be different when he's testifying actually before Congress? Will there be more "I don't recalls" instead of more "I didn't didn't know I was doing anything wrong"? I mean, he's got to tell the absolute truth now, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think there'll be more of the same, but then there'll be more, Joe. There's a lot going on in these congressional hearings. People will be trying to get to the bottom of what happened. Did it happen because it was offshore? Would it have happened in the U.S.? But then there's a lot of other things. I mean, members of Congress are not constrained in what they're able to ask.
Neither was Andrew. Were you, Andrew? I don't think you were concerned.
Nope.
But if someone says, "Did you knowingly commingle customer funds with Alameda?" What did he say to you when you asked him that? He's like, it was like nebulous the way doesn't he have to give a more?
He didn't give if we didn't get to a yes or no.
That's what I mean. So does he do it? I don't recall now. What does he do? I know people do. I don't recall again and again and again.
You know, I think one of the reasons this is going to be so interesting and why we're talking about today is we will see. We'll see how he handles those questions under that kind of pressure. One of the things that makes you a good witness in front of Congress is whether you're coming off as authentic or not. And that is actually a very important part of preparing for these types of hearings.
If he perjures himself in front of them, what happens?
Well, I mean, perjury is perjury, and you're not.
That's why "I don't recall" is going to be more than "no, I didn't do anything."
I am sure that he is preparing thoroughly and going through a fair amount of what is referred to as murder boarding, Q&A. What how would you respond to this? That's a big part of preparing for a hearing like this.
Can you talk about the distinction between civil negligence and criminality in the context of what we think has happened here?
Well, look, the interesting part about the law is it's very complicated around someone's mental state. Is your mental state just, lack of paying attention? That's I would say the vernacular way to say negligence. Is it, you had an obligation to pay attention. There were all sorts of signs that you should be paying attention and you ignored them, recklessness? Or do you have some kind of intent? You were like, for example, I need that money. It's not my money, but I'm going to consciously transfer it to my account. Those levels go to level of culpability, different responsibilities at law. I mean, we actually have an amazingly flexible and nuanced legal system around situations like this.
From what you've seen thus far, maybe unfair to prejudge, given that we don't have all the facts. What do you think?
Look, I think there was obviously a great deal of bad behavior here that we would think was bad behavior from our perspective as to how you run a financial institution in the United States, but also from a general perspective in how you handle any business.
But what about the idea that some of these laws that we have here around securities and all sorts of other things that might otherwise, things that maybe happened would have constituted fraud or worse here, wouldn't there?
Well, let me say this. We have an incredibly well-developed and rigorous legal system around securities markets, securities issuance, securities trading, all of those things. But its basis is in the common law. And outside the United States, there is still a fair amount of common law built around fraud and the like. What does our securities law system do? It creates processes, requirements, transparency, inspection that makes it much easier to detect fraud and prevent fraud. So, I'm not saying that around the world fraudulent activity isn't policed. We just have what I would say is an incredibly rigorous system for deterring it, detecting it, and when it exists, punishing it.